Welcome to Terra Talking, the podcast that's named after the blog that's just me, telling stories to offer help, healing, and hope as you journey into your passionate, purposeful, and prosperous life. Thanks for coming along on the ride, and now on to today's topic. So tonight, this is going to be probably one of my shorter videos because I like to get done before midnight and I don't usually start until 11. But what I want to talk about is so much that I'm afraid that if I got started talking about it, this could turn into like a 4-hour-long webinar. But what I mostly want to come in and say for my nighttime, late night crowd, and then those of you who catch this in the morning when it pops up in your newsfeed, mindset is everything. You've probably heard that before. You've probably seen it on a meme, and maybe you believe it. Maybe you scoff at the idea. Maybe it's just one of those phrases that you overhear and you don't really grasp. And the same thing with the second thing that I put in here. When you change your mind, you can change your life. And what I want to say about that is whether or not you have believed in that enough to have it, I guess, come to fruition in your life. What I want to challenge you on is to really just start testing it out for yourself. Change your mind and change your life. Your thoughts, your mindset, how you think about whatever you're going through, and that internal dialogue that is kind of always running your thoughts. Wherever you're at with that, becoming more aware of it is always extremely powerful. You are powerful. Your thoughts are dictating what and where and how your life is. And again, believe it or not, it is the truth. And when you start becoming more aware of that, when you start to realize the language you're using around anything that's going on in your life, it's the words you use to speak to yourself, to speak to or about yourself and about situations around you. You are creating your life. You are creating and dictating what's going to happen. And that can either be for the negative or for the positive. Now, most of us are kind of taught, we are conditioned by society to have some of this negative self-talk going through our minds, going through our daily lives, and that is what we tend to end up attracting. When you say something like, oh, can life get any worse? Like, I can't handle another bill. That's what you've now focused on, and guess what's probably going to show up in the mail? Another bill. Because that is how powerful your thoughts are. Tell me if there's ever been a time when you have been like, I know what's going to happen next. And it's usually that you're trying to talk yourself out of a negative situation. And you're trying to be like, oh, this negative thing is going to happen, hoping that it doesn't. And yet what usually ends up happening, that negative thing. Something like, watch, this light's going to turn red right when I get up to the line. Sure enough, the light turns red right when you get up to the line. And for sure, you can go ahead and chalk a lot of this stuff up to being coincidence or just being luck, being, maybe you have psychic abilities to know this. Or you can start to realize that your thoughts are incredibly powerful and that what you're thinking about, what you are fixated on or focused on is what is showing up in your external reality. So within that, your mindset about wherever you're at in life determines so much. You can, the old adage, is the glass half full or half empty? It depends on your mindset. If you are always looking for the good in things, looking for the optimism, looking for the success, that's what you're going to find. When you are looking for a problem, when you are looking to see now what's going to go wrong, and I can't wait to see what, Hot Mess Express shows up today, guess what's going to show up? Hot Mess Express and more problems. because that's the reality that you are creating. Your thoughts are so powerful. And one thing that I am passionate about helping people realize is that it's so many little simple shifts for the positive, for some of those positive things to start happening. Now, I'm not saying it's always an overnight switch, but when you start to switch some of the language that you're talking to yourself about and thinking of things in a different way, you will start to see changes. And if you are wanting to call in something more positive in your life, start thinking more positively about that thing. Again, I'm way oversimplifying this because, well, it really is a simple concept. But there's also so many other layers to dig into about, why our brains start to tell us this story of, oh, this negative thing is going to happen. What some of the actual science behind the vibration of what we're thinking and feeling and how that affects our reality. There's, quantum physics and all of this stuff, obviously too much for a very late night live. But this is the kind of stuff that we talk about, or that is coming up on deck for the Clarity, Courage, and Confidence coaching program. A couple of the courses that I have coming out over the next few weeks, we delve into it. But I want to kind of start setting that foundation and setting that introductory process into place here, because it really can be a very simple thing. And I want to challenge you, if you're watching this video, and drop in the comments below, like, what you're going to do to try this. But I want you to just take one area of life, one thing. Maybe it's your morning commute. And maybe instead of like, oh, I'm going to sit in traffic for 30 minutes, maybe you just make a simple shift. Maybe today, traffic is going to be light and easy. And then start to affirmatively state that. I am going to have the easiest drive to work ever today. There's going to be no traffic. I'm going to catch all the green lights. Because how is that any worse? And here's a secret, it's not. Than sitting there and saying, oh, I'm going to catch every red light. There's going to be so much traffic. I'm never going to make it to work on time. What is really the hard part about just simply shifting into I'm going to have an easy commute today? Just a super minor, simple shift. But when you start to look for, how can my thoughts affect my reality? What is something else that I can say? I'm going to choose to think positively about this. I'm not going to put a negative spin on it. I'm not going to get really self-deprecating with my thoughts, my language, my words. I am going to instead choose to have a positive view on it. And it doesn't mean that you're walking around like, Pollyanna and being inauthentic to yourself. Most of this really truly starts to come from just our own internal dialogue. It's not really even stuff that we're saying out loud. And again, you may not fully be grasping what it is that I'm saying now if this has never been something that you've tried to introduce, having a shifted mindset for the positive. And that's okay, because I get it, because I was there. I was there a few years ago when I would read and hear things about people who are like, just think positively. And I'm not even saying just think positively. I'm simply saying shift your mindset into what is it that you want to have happen. Not in this, superficial, cartoon-like, overly positive way, but simply in a way that you are owning your own power and being able to say, if my thoughts are powerful, if I can believe that, if I can believe that my thoughts are powerful, what do I want to use my power for today? Where do I want to shift that power to happening for me? Hold on, I'd written some other notes. So when you start to change your mind, your mindset, you change your life. And it doesn't come with like a fireworks show and like, your life is changed, across some screen. It's just all of a sudden you realize, instead of always focusing on the negative aspect, the shadow side of anything in your life, you start to look for the good things. the powerful things, the amazing things that can start to happen in your life. It is simply about shifting your mindset to look more for those things than to feel sucked into the negative. Again, most of it starts internally. It is our thoughts. And when you start to just become aware of it, you start to realize how much of this negativity just kind of passes over your brain so many times a day. And when you start to take hold of some of those thoughts, when you start to catch yourself saying, why am I speaking this negatively to myself? Why am I assuming that my traffic is going to be horrible? Why am I assuming that money is going to not show up for me when I need it? And you don't have to have all the answers. That's the really good thing. But when you just simply catch that thought and say, why am I believing this? Now you've already started to shift it, because all of a sudden it doesn't just get to cross over your brain and direct your thoughts. You get to say, okay, so if this thought is making me feel a negative emotion, what would feel better? What would feel better right now than this negative thing? And it's not rocket science. I guarantee you, if you came to me right now and you said, I feel fat and frumpy. Okay, what would feel better than feeling fat and frumpy? And that's different for everyone. For some people, it would feel better if I had energy to go and work out. Okay, where's the energy? What is stopping you from doing that thing or choosing that other thought? What would feel better, even if you didn't take an action? What would feel better than feeling fat and frumpy? By the way, that's my internal dialogue. Okay, what would feel better than feeling fat and frumpy? Well, feeling strong and lithe and confident in my skin would feel better than that. Okay, let's choose that. Let's just choose to feel confident right here and now. You don't need any other thing in your life to change. Just choose to feel confident. And watch to see if you don't, and I realize that I'm using like a very specific thing, but with that, when I have that internal dialogue and I choose to just feel confident in my skin right here and right now, instead of choosing to feel fat and frumpy, when I say, no, I do feel confident now, I lift my shoulders up a little bit more. I stand a little taller. I breathe a little deeper and easier. And I choose that confidence. And not a whole lot else needs to happen. So now that I'm walking around more confident and tall and breathing deeper and standing taller, I'm looking for more good opportunities. When I'm fat and frumpy, I'm kind of caved in. I'm hunched over and I'm like, man, this sucks. Life doesn't have to suck. It's about changing your mindset. And it starts so easy. When you change your mind, you change your life. You are powerful. Your thoughts are powerful. So find a way, and maybe you don't have the answer right now as you're watching this, something that you want to experiment, just to start saying, okay, I know that I speak negatively or I have negative self-chatter about this, and I'm going to start changing it. You might not know that answer right now. But if you watch this video over the next couple of days, I want you to pay attention. Where are you catching yourself having these negative thoughts? And where are you going to start taking hold of those negative thoughts and turning them into something positive? Again, you may not know what the opposite is. It doesn't have to be the opposite even. It's just what would feel better than this negative feeling, this negative thought right now. Catch it and hold on to it, acknowledge it, and then turn it into whatever the positive is. Whatever that is. And I want you to start practicing that. When you catch yourself in that negative state or saying a self-deprecating thing like, oh, I bet thus and such negative is going to happen. Nope, stop it. I bet something good is going to happen. Just say that out loud. Hold on to that thought. Feel the feeling of it feeling better. And then see what doesn't start to change. Kathy, yes, mindset does make a huge difference. It is, but as much as we can own that on the surface, sometimes until you start feeling into capturing the negative mindset and choosing to flip it into a positive one, a more strong one, a more confident one. It's not, again, don't hear me always saying that you have to have this optimistic Pollyanna outlook on life. but it's choosing to switch out of whatever's making you feel negative into a much more positive place to be, and start to see what doesn't start to change for you. Kathy, you had said on another post, it was a couple weeks ago, about some of the things you're wanting to change. You in particular were talking about healthy eating and how you were great with making some of these lifestyle choices and different changes, and that it was a struggle to get the family on board, which I 100% understand. With 4 kids, and when we eat with my boyfriend and his 2 kids, there are a lot of different palates that we're trying to please, and my best laid plans for eating healthy get derailed by the little mini dictators who I live with. And what I've realized is that part of it is, this is one place that I use the mindset too, where instead of, no one's going to like what we're eating tonight, or I really want to eat this, but no one else is going to like it, I'm now putting a negative overlay over certain things. What about, and this is where I catch myself and I'm trying to be better, I'm going to cook this meal tonight and I know everyone's going to like it. It's just a simple mindset shift. And maybe it's not their favorite meal, but if I'm preempting how they are going to react, how they are going to choose something, I have now created that outcome, because that's the thoughts I had about it. That's the mindset I was in, that no one's going to like my cooking, so I might as well just not even try. And I'm not saying specifically to you, Kathy, that's where your solution lies. But it reminded me of that, because you popped on and said that, that it really can come down to, that may not change the entire situation, but it'll sure start to shift things about how you feel about it. And sometimes that's the most important key is what do you feel? What do you want? What do you require when it comes to how you want to shift your mindset and start to change your life? So yeah, I just wanted to leave you guys with those thoughts. Again, this is going to be coming up a whole lot more over the next few weeks. But yeah, mindset really is everything. Mindset being the thoughts that we think, the feelings that we feel, and how we choose to go about living the life that we've always imagined. So find that way, find where it is that you on a daily basis can start to become more aware, more conscious of some of the negative self-chatter and how that's becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. And what are some of the ways you can start to change it? It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be amazing or, noteworthy in particular to really anyone else. But where can you start to just shift from creating this negative energy and all of a sudden shift into creating more positive energy for yourself, for your family, for your life? So yeah, that is tonight's tip from Terra. That's a good thing. I should say that more. Terra talking tips. Anyways, I'll stop rambling, and I hope you guys all have a great night, have had a great week. I am so ready for a nice, relaxing weekend. And again, I'm going to speak that into existence. I'm going to take it. So I hope that it is great for all of you. Thank you for being here. And keep inviting your friends and family. I love seeing new faces join every day. It's so fun as we all learn to grow with the flow of whatever's going on in life. But we're going to start turning that flow into the positive, right? Because we are strong and powerful. Love you all, and I will talk to you later.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of Terra Talking. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Find me pretty much everywhere on the interwebs as @Terra Talking, that's TerraTalking, or at my blog, terratalking.com. Your reviews, comments, and shares are always so appreciated. May you prosper well as you live your most passionate, purposeful life this week. And as always, keep on keeping on.